somewhere or the other, the Prime Minister has gone, and he has gone very scientifically in every term that he's had. Whether it is the women's reservation bill, whether it is Article 370, whether it is the Ram Mandir issue, Tausif, the record can be seen. From Swachh Bharat, talking from toilets and cleaning up India as basic as that, right up to the fact that there has been encouragement given to ISRO and other organizations to put India there on the world map. You can't. I'm not saying that 100% every problem in this country has been resolved and everybody is happy and there's nothing more to do. Of course not. We are a large country, we have large diversity, and we have a huge number of problems. But the fact is that we've moved ahead far more in these 10 years than we have in the previous governments in previous decades. Tausif, the world is watching this. People of India, therefore, are voting for Modi. What is the opposition doing? What can you account for? You can't even get yourselves together in a row, get your ducks in a row.
Navika, I agree that all of the problems could not be solved, and at any given point of time there will always be some problem. But it is so insulting from the Prime Minister to keep quiet and not talk about Manipur. Manipur does not matter to him? The people, the state is still burning, people are losing their life. That does not matter to him because it is only a matter of a couple of parliamentarian seats, which he does not count in his 370 that he was talking about today. Is that not an insult? Are people of India not watching it? Will people of India not take that into account? Does this suit for a Prime Minister to keep shut on such a sensitive issue of Manipur, which is still burning? Does it suit? Please also see, he has not spoken about the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which we call Manrega in short form. What does it do? This act guarantees a 100-day employment or a wage when no employment is provided. What has happened to that? More than 21 lakh workers from Bengal has not been paid their dues in last 2 years. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has met the Prime Minister. The delegation from Trinamool Party has met the Union Home Minister. Chief Minister has sat in the dharna last year. She is sitting in the dharna now. Still not a word from the Prime Minister on that.
Dharnas are fine. Dharnas are fine, but if you watched the interview I did with the Finance Minister, she has clarified. She has said that she will not give money when the CAG has found objections, when names of schemes are changed, when they are being given to fraudulent people. She has given all the reasons on why these funds have not been forwarded. But when you talk about Manipur, Sohail said, should the question not also be asked of the opposition that the Prime Minister fielded his most able Home Minister to answer the question on Manipur? Did the opposition even allow the Home Minister to utter a word in Parliament? Can they now turn around and say Prime Minister hasn't spoken about it? The government was keen, the Home Minister was keen to answer. They did not allow him to answer. Now, to put the point back in the Prime Minister's court, is this just opportunistic politics at one level? And is the opposition once again missing the big picture? Are they targeting the Prime Minister on issues that will not stick to him? And are they forgetting their own strategies, which they should have had written in stone by this time? Because, I don't know, maybe in the next 3 or 4 weeks, elections will be announced.
So to quote a television panelist, you must allow me time without interruption and give me extra time as well. I totally agree with Tausif. In my mind, the Prime Minister should have spoken about Manipur, but I'm not the Prime Minister. I think when the Prime Minister speaks on multifarious issues on various subjects, to speak on Manipur would have been important, but that's his call. He's the Prime Minister, not me, not Tausif, not Sanjay. Having said that, the optics of the opposition is the optics that India doesn't want. India does not want a divisive opposition which will thwart the progress that India is seemingly on. There is no question, Navika, that Narendra Modi, because of him being the lone wolf, being the driver of this government, has been able to push through a lot of progressive initiatives which otherwise wouldn't have happened. Please understand, and I wrote about this last week when I said SOLE, the sole wolf. Let's go back in time. You remember Vajpayee ji was hemmed in by the three ladies at that point in time, Mayawati, Jayalalitha, and Mamata Banerjee. And at that time, coalition dharma was always, offered as the succor. Didn't work. Number two, the opposition today brings out its fissures and warts on its own. For Mamata Banerjee to get into a diatribe that day against the Congress tells you how united the opposition is. So they're not united at all. Akhilesh Yadav, who I have a lot of time for, Akhilesh Yadav says, hame kabhi bulate, kabhi nahi bulate. Now, Akhilesh Yadav was an ally, is an ally of the India bloc for a long, long time. So while I agree on, Sanjay's spirited defense of the Congress, in fact, the Congress is so stupid that Sanjay Jha has been defending the Congress without any role, and poor chap has been suspended. The first thing they should do is take him back with flying colors. He's the only person who's defending the party repeatedly. Now, one of the points that Sanjay made is that the Prime Minister is engaging in dialoguing of a particular kind. Of course he will. Today's speech, Sanjay and all the other panelists, whether you like it or not, oratorially was superb. What was the response? As Anand Ranganathan very rightly said, the response was to touch the nerves of every Indian by saying that Balakot didn't actually happen and that our forces were at fault. The problem is that the opposition is scoring self-goals every day, and Narendra Modi is charting a completely different course. In traditional marketing parlance, he has changed the battleground. He's not fighting on the same battleground that Rahul Gandhi and all are. With all the respect that I have for the opposition leaders, Rahul Gandhi is an activist, not a politician. He's happy addressing 120 people at Oxford. Narendra Modi is a politician and not an activist. He's happy addressing 1.2 million people if he can and if he will. The reality is that they are talking at cross purposes. You do not have an opposition in India that speaks in one voice on one issue with one level of clarity. That's the problem. The biggest problem to my mind strategically was to even announce India. When they announced the India bloc, that was, to my mind, the biggest mistake. Because individual parties would have retained their identity without being subsumed by one overarching entity. You saw what Mamata Banerjee said. She says, who are these people? They can't fight Modi in Varanasi. They can't fight Modi, and they are trying to teach me. So each person's ego is now being pricked for all the right reasons, because you treat them as if you are the entitled person and the rest don't matter. You cannot have a divided opposition taking on a united Modi. As simple as that.
Respond, Sanjay Jha, and then I'm coming to you, Shehzad.
Please.
Navika, I'm not going to disagree with Suhail at all on the fact that the India alliance has struggled. Absolutely. I have personally been very vocal about it, that the Congress should have demonstrated greater leadership as the principal fulcrum of the party and made sure that they looked formidable to take on the BJP. The point I wish to make, because Mr. Modi has made statements about, India is going to become the third largest economy. He doesn't tell you the truth. He does so much of cherry picking, the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister must realize there are parameters like the per capita income, where India is at a miserable over 140 or 190 countries. Mr. Modi, it is not just about Mr. Ratan Tata or Mr. Abandi or Mr. Adani. India has people who are farmers, who are middle class, who are small businessmen, who are workers, who are entrepreneurs, who are students. Please take care of them. Stop thinking about an India of 1%, by the 1%, for the 1%. And
Shehzad